Alright, so we are going to do a brief tutorial of the u.osu.edu platform. At this point, most of you have already attended the in-person workshop where we actually looked at the site and you guys had some time to kind of mess around with the functions that it offers. In this brief tutorial, I'm just going to go ahead and go through the main pieces again in case you forgot or in case you're a visual learner and you want to see this on video. So to start off with, you just navigate to u.osu.edu, and this is what the front page looks like. You're going to go ahead and click on Login, and you're going to be required to log in with your OSU number and your OSU password. Okay, so when you first log in, everyone's automatically given a generic blog site that's titled lastname.numbers blog. Whenever you go in to actually edit your work, the thing that you want to remember is that you do need to go up to My Sites and select whichever page you want to work on. I'll go ahead and select BSN and then select Dashboard. And again, you'll be able to tell if you're on the right page by the title up here. So the dashboard is basically where all of the things happen. It's kind of a summary about what you've got going on in your particular account. But it's also where you can navigate to add different pages, change the appearance, add posts, all kinds of different things. So actually, before we start looking at the back end of things, I'm going to go ahead and open the site itself that we're going to be looking at editing. So this site, for me, I use for my current recently admitted nursing students. When the nursing students are admitted, there are a lot of requirements they have to do over the summer in order to be prepared for the first day of classes. Rather than sending them out a bunch of emails, which tends to overwhelm students, I decided to put everything into one place on this u.osu.edu site. For this, I do a lot of hyperlinking and going to different pages, so your site might not be this way. It may not have so many different routes to getting to the same place, but I wanted to make sure that no matter where a student clicked, they could get to the places that they needed to. So what we're going to look at first is what's the difference between a post and a page. So if we're looking at the site itself, a post is going to look like this content here. It is going to have the date and time and the author listed every time, and it's going to appear on the home page. So whatever your home page is, that's where any post that you have will appear. I only have one post here because I want this to be sort of a welcome message, but if I were to add more posts, this would move down and a new post would populate above it. This would still be here, but again, the new post would be above it as well. So if we go back to the dashboard, click on posts. If I hadn't already published this site, nothing would be here, so I could click add new post. But I'm going to actually go ahead and go to the existing post. So if you have something that's set up that you can use every year, this is an example of that. You can just go ahead and edit it. So for this, for next year, I would need to change the dates for orientation. That's an example of an edit I would need to make. But you can see here, it's very easy to input. It's almost like a basic word processor. Within the page, just a fun thing to note is you can hyperlink. You can hyperlink to external websites, but you can also hyperlink to existing pages. So I do have this hyperlinked to an existing page. And the reason that I, again, set it up this way is so that students will get to the places they need to go regardless of where they're clicking. But if you look down here, all of your existing or recently published pages exist here, so you can literally just click on that link and update it. For the purposes of this site, the update button is what's going to essentially save your work, and it does go live as soon as you save it. A cool feature of the site, which I'll show you here, is you can create your own short link for every single page and post that you have in your site. So if I wanted to shorten this to just be u.osu.edu/welcome, I could create that unique short link and I could just send that short link out rather than linking to the site every time. I guess that's helpful if you're sending out short links, or if you're potentially putting this out through Twitter, Facebook, short links are usually kind of helpful in those kinds of situations. They're not necessary in this particular situation, but again, it's a really cool feature of the site. So posts are always going to appear on the front page. If we go back, we'll see the menu on the left-hand side. These are all pages, so these are unique pages that actually exist, and we can go take a look at those real quick. And they essentially look the same, but let's take an example of clinical compliance requirements. So when you click on clinical compliance requirements, a bunch of different links show up. If we go back here, go to clinical compliance requirements, you'll see that I have all the information. I'm hyperlinked in here. These are all just hyperlinking to media. So if you do need to add media, forms, anything like that, you can add that all right here, and then you can insert it right into your page. That's just a regular upload process. Again, you could edit the short link and you could update it. This particular page doesn't have any subpages, so I'm actually going to pull up a better page to show you how to parent something. And again, that's one of the cool features of the site. Let me see here. So this, I believe, has some parents. Okay. So here's another site that I created for pre-nursing orientation. Again, it's just a way for students to get a lot of information that they need without us having to send a bunch of different emails, or an email that's 10 pages long that doesn't ever get read. So in this page, there are some parents or menu items, and they actually have subpages here. So this is a really cool way to create visual structure and organization for your site. If you do have a lot of information, but it can be neatly organized with categories, you can do that using pages. So let me go to the dashboard here. So we'll start off looking at the resources, or actually the review before orientation. So you can see under review before orientation, there are a bunch of different options. The flipbook, online registration questionnaire, presentation, the to-do list, and what to expect. So these are all sub-pages under review before orientation. If we go to the pages itself, and we find the review before orientation option, we can see all those options are listed here as subpages. When we were creating this, what you would have done is just created them all as new pages. And initially everything would have appeared on this left side here, regardless of whether or not you wanted it to be a subpage, until you clicked on the page again and then went over to page attributes, and under the parent option, select whatever menu item you want it to appear under. So for this flipbook option, I want this to appear under review before orientation. When I update that, it then leaves the main menu site and becomes a sub-menu for whatever you choose as the parent. So the student can click on that link, they can click on the option that's there, and that'll take them to the actual element they're needing to review. Those are the main options for creating pages, creating posts. The only other thing that's really important to take a look at is the appearance. So there are a couple different themes that you can choose. That's really just the look of your site. I tend to prefer this Ohio State Light. The menu items appear on the left-hand side, and it's easier to organize. When you use either of these with the menu items appearing at the top, when you get too many menu items, it ends up making 2 rows, and I just don't really like the way that looks, so I tend to stick with this one, but it's totally up to you and what you're using your site for. The customize option lets you do a lot of really cool things. So you can change the title. You can have a tagline for your site. So if I wanted to put a tagline here, that is an option. I can change colors within a certain set. So I don't have full control over that, but that's okay. I can make the title capitalized or not capitalized. Same with the navigation. I could change that to being capitalized or uncapitalized. I can link to any of our social media pages, so I have done that on this site, and you'll see those there. And then in the footer, if you have contact information that you'd like to include there, if a student has questions, you can certainly do that. If your college subscribes to branding, then it will be available here. So you can put your college-specific branding on your page, which I do have here, the logo for the College of Nursing, not just the OSU logo. The disclaimer, just leave as default. That's getting a little complicated. But you can also add widgets. So you can customize your sidebar to have whatever you want in it. Right now I have recent posts, archives, and a calendar here. I have the ability to search on the blog and then the custom menu, of course. But there are a lot of different widgets that you could add. So if you wanted to add cluster maps, you could do that. You could add a Flickr widget. But that's not something that's necessary for this page. But this is where you would do it, and then save and publish, which again publishes your site. I hope that was helpful. Once you are done reviewing this video, you should be in a good place to kind of log into your own site and start working on some things.